Okay, recons video on Sunday, the 18th of December 2022 has just gone 2:41 AM Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. So first of all, an apology for not putting out a video last weekend. It has been a pretty hectic couple of weeks for us. And last Sunday I was traveling back from the UK and got caught in the bad weather and delayed. So by the time I made it back to France, it was a bit late to put out a video. Hopefully we'll make up for that in this weekend's video. I know some of you like knowing what we're up to. We're traveling north from Biarritz to fly out to Hawaii, and we're spending Christmas in Saint-Malo, which we've been to before in 2019. This is what Saint-Malo looks like. If anybody's planning on trips to France, this is one of the places to go see. Just spectacular. Mont Saint-Michel is kind of east of here, which is again one of those kind of places in France that is just spectacular and you have to go see. And if you're making your way west along the kind of Brittany-Normandy coast, you'll reach Saint-Malo, which is just spectacular. Kind of peaked in the 1600s and 1700s, and when you go around it you think, my God, historically this has been extremely well preserved, and then you find out the backstory. That actually during the Second World War it was almost totally destroyed, and they've rebuilt it basically stone for stone and brick for brick. I think internally inside these buildings, you know, they've kind of modernized it obviously, but from an external kind of view it looks spectacular and it looks incredibly original. It was left over, the Normandy landings took place east of here. And so there was a German, I don't know how large the force was, garrison, I mean it was tens of thousands of German soldiers were left behind, kind of isolated as the Normandy landings kind of moved east. And so they had to kind of mop up the Germans that were left behind in Saint-Malo. And so there was an aerial bombing campaign which destroyed a good deal of the city, and also the Germans apparently set fire to the city to try and destroy it, and they decided after the Second World War that they would rebuild it during the late 40s and early 50s, and they've done an amazing job. It looks spectacular, but it is a little bit of a recreation from, you know, the original, but still an amazing place worth coming to see. So there we go, a little bit of local color and what we're doing, but let us get to the charts, because this is the weekend futures market recap where we go through 15 of the largest futures markets and I show you what I am seeing on my charts. And before getting to the 15 markets, let's talk about the E-mini and the equities markets and what they are doing, because that kind of helps directionally determine what everything else is going to do. So we'll start with a daily chart, and this is the traditional view of the better indicators. We've got two panels side by side. Everything to do with volume on the left hand side with better momentum, which is a volume based momentum indicator below the price bars, and on the price bars themselves we have better pro-am, which is showing professional and amateur activity. Professionals in blue, amateurs in yellow. Right hand side, everything to do with price based on better sine wave, which is a cyclical indicator showing us trends and cycles in 3 different time frames. And breaks of support and resistance give us trending moves and show us strength and uptrends in red and weakness and downtrends in white. We had a little bit of trouble. We had a bit of a double top kind of form over the last couple of weeks, and we've kind of fallen down here. On the daily chart here, we've run into resistance on the intermediate time frame. I said this was going to be a little bit of trouble kind of to get through, so we're either going to play this out, resistance down to support where this kind of comes down and tests, or we're going to find some point kind of midway and then kind of come back through 41.41. So a break above 41.41 means that the uptrend is kind of back on. The background is printed in, well at the moment it's kind of neutral, it's kind of black, but we were in a confirmed uptrend with the background printed in red here, dark red. And so we're going through a dark period where we're just retracing and finding the next level of support. We've broken through this support on the daily chart here, this little 39.65 level, and that's why the bars have printed white at the moment. So we're in a little bit of a downtrend. But at some point we're going to get caught. And we also have the kind of seasonal pattern coming up to Christmas time and New Year, where things tend to be a little bit bullish, and at some point this will catch. So I don't know when it's going to be, during this week potentially, as we come into kind of Christmas trading. So what I'm looking for is that kind of catch where we start to hold and break back up. So going to the 135-minute chart, there's the resistance that we have on the highest time frame here. I said the Rambo pattern here was going to be trouble. Every time we have Rambo patterns, look for some weakness afterwards. We kind of pushed through 4100s a couple of times, but then we kind of fell back. The Rambo pattern stands for potential reversal of an amateur breakout, RAMBO, and it just means that at some points it's turning points. A Rambo pattern here means a significant turning point, but oftentimes what we'll have is just some weakness afterwards, because it means that the trending move, is being led by the amateurs and therefore is a little bit suspect. We have professionals coming on the dip down here at 3700, and so what we'll be looking for is professional bar to come in on the 135-minute chart to hold this. So maybe we're going to play out resistance to support at this point. We're kind of in this downtrend because the bars are white, but between here and 3600 we should find support and catch, and a blue professional bar kind of come in, from which we can start to rally and test back up through 41.41. So going through the time frames, here we go. We have blue professional bars right at the highs here. There's our double top being made at 41.50. It's all white here, meaning we're in a downtrend at that point. We've had an exhaustion sell signal, which is kind of good, so we're flushing out people, but we've had no end of trends yet. We're through resistance on the lowest time frame here. We're bouncing on we're through support on the lowest time frame here. We're bouncing off support here on the intermediate time frame, but no end of trends yet. So we'll kind of look for that. 15-minute chart, here we go. Blue professional bars, exhaustion into those highs, and then we have the gap up. This was this week's news about inflation, where the inflation numbers kind of came in weaker than expected, which means that potentially the Fed might be kind of wrong-footed, and so the market rallied. But the pros used that as an opportunity to get out. They gapped up the market kind of pre-open up here, tested up into those highs. Blue professional bars were under the shadow of those blue professional bars into those highs, and then there's the blue professional bars kind of selling it down, and then a stair-step trade as this kind of steps down. Blue professional bars kind of come in again, sell it down, bang, bang, bang. So we've got exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, but no blue professional bars at the lows down here. And we're putting in pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame here. We've got our exhaustion sell, bullish divergence. We've got support in the highest time frame. So we're starting to form a little bit of an area of support kind of down here. I like the tick bar charts. The 13,500 tick bar chart is pretty close to a 15-minute chart. It's kind of closer to a 20-minute chart. And on this you can see that we're starting to form those bottom patterns kind of down here. So there's that exhaustion buy up there, pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame, pullback to end of trend on the intermediate time frame. So we're rippling through the time frames. We break through support on the highest time frame into our downtrend here, bang, bang, bang. And down at the bottom down here we've had pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame, which is showing a left shoulder. We're just putting in pullback to end of trend on the intermediate time frame, so we've got these little crosses to kind of play out here. That'll be shoulder, head, and then hopefully a right shoulder being formed after that. And here we've got blue professional bars coming in on the lows with exhaustion sell down there. So on the 13,500 chart, we're starting to form a bottom down here. In terms of cycles, we're playing out these cycles, and next day or two those should play out and maybe form a bottom. So that's one indicator, better sine wave. We've got exhaustion sell, which is number 2 indicator, and we've got blue professional bars kind of coming in here. So we've got 3 starting to line up, but we've still got to play this move all the way out and then start busting up through resistances to show that we have got a change in trend. So a little bit of detail on the E-mini charts, and if we go to the simplified view of the better indicators, so this is where we take the best features of all 3 indicators and put them on one chart to generate our triple signals. Triple long signals are shown by these vertical dotted red lines, triple short signals showing with the vertical dotted white lines here. The beginning and ends of weeks are shown here with the vertical yellow line. You can see this is the move that we had into that inflation number that was kind of weaker than expected. Bang, we got our exhaustion pattern here, and then finally we got our triple signal short, and nice little stair-step trade here. Blue professional bars coming on the retrace, sell it down, bang, bang, bang. So on this simplified view, we're oversold with the background in red. We've got our exhaustion sell, bullish divergence come in here, exhaustion sell at the end of the move as well. Our better pro-am signal there is showing that the trailing stop is down at 38.96. Blue professional bars at the lows here. So seemingly we've got a lot of things kind of coming together in order to get a triple signal here. Last week we were bullish with this signal into that move. This week, after that kind of midweek signal, we've been bearish, but at some point, Monday, Tuesday, we should start to form this bottom and rally on the E-mini. So now let's have a look at some of the Forex charts, because they were kind of risk on, risk off, mirroring that move in equities. Here's last week's kind of signal on the euro. Everything kind of comes together for a triple. We have a nice kind of rally here. Nice little signal here with exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence, a whole bunch of blue professional bars coming at that low at 5.5, and we kind of rally into those highs. And at the moment it's weak. I'm short euro at the moment, and we're down at just under 106. And let's see if that kind of continues down until we get everything kind of coming together on the equity side and the Forex side. So let's look at the British pound. British pound similarly weak at the moment. We didn't get a signal this week with the topping out move at 24 because there was no exhaustion buy at that point. The last exhaustion buy we had was actually underneath here, and that's what generated this kind of short signal there. Didn't end up being a good signal at all. But blue professional bars kind of sold it down here. Got exhaustion sell. We're too early in terms of a signal on British pound, but at some point that should hold this week, I'd have thought. Aussie dollar, now this has been a nice move down, so this is this week's kind of signal. We had short signals into this move, and we came back up to test at 69. Blue professional bars at the highs there, bang, bang, exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, and then we break, we're overbought with the background in grey, and then we break into a downtrend. So that's been a really strong move on the way down. Japanese yen, I think it's actually signaling long at the moment. Yep, so we're trying to find a bottom in Japanese yen. Last week, not a lot of blue professional bars at the lows here, but we did have a long signal. This is a little bit better for blue professional bars kind of coming in, and we rallied from there. And then we've just had a signal over Friday's trade. No exhaustion sell down here necessarily. So it's probably playing off that move there, but a whole bunch of blue professional bars come in here at kind of 72 and a bit, and we rallied from there. So the test back down into this area is going to be key. So on the equities markets and the Forex markets, I'm looking for some kind of rally into Christmas, starting to line up for kind of early to mid this week. So let's see if that kind of plays out. Bonds, what are bonds doing at the moment? Yeah, this is the kind of explosive move up that we had. You can see the signal there in the background with the CPI numbers, or the inflation numbers kind of coming out this week, but it's weakened from there. Blue professional bars kind of trying to catch down here, and this is showing that we're oversold as well. So some strength in bonds at the moment. We're just fussing around trying to figure out where that's going to go. This is a breakout kind of move, so they come in here, U-turn, buy it, get it going, and also in anticipation of breakout below these highs, we've got blue professional bars kind of coming in, a little bit of a gathering pattern there. So that whole area has to hold. We have to kind of rally back up through 15. So let's see if we get that with this week's activity. So there we go, rip around the equities and the Forex markets. Let's go see the precious metals, gold. So this week you can see exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, a whole bunch of blue professional bars kind of come in here. And I think that was also based off the inflation numbers, and we've had a signal down. We're kind of coming back up in under the lip into that zone. No blue professional bars at the lows down here on gold, so gold is weak, and we're going to have to go test down, I would imagine. Silver, going to be following gold to some extent. We didn't have signals up at the top here because we didn't have exhaustion buy. but it's kind of weak at the moment. Actually, blue professional bars kind of come in here, but no exhaustion sell here. So I'd look for that to kind of come back down before silver gets caught and rallied. Bitcoin, we had a nice signal here into these highs. We didn't have a signal short, although we had a whole bunch of blue professional bars at 18,000 kind of take profits, but there was no exhaustion buy pattern here to give us a signal short. But now we're back down at 16,000s. We've got exhaustion sell, bullish divergence. That's a little bit early, but breaking back up through 17,000 would give us another signal kind of long on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin looking to break up through the rally. And here's crude. So crude this last week, the week before, we had signals long into crude. So we're oversold with the background in red. We have exhaustion sell, bullish divergence come in. This one signaled early because it was based off that pattern, but that one's just getting the move going. This exhaustion pattern here is nice. Exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, kind of, and another exhaustion pattern down here. More blue professional bars coming at the lows, and we've rallied since there. A little bit of profit taking at 78, but a break and more blue professional bars kind of getting active here as we test back down. But a break back up through 75 and a bit, 76, definitely will be a continuation of the uptrend in crude. So finally crude has found a little bit of a bottom down here at 72. So let's have a look at natural gas, see if we had any signals. No signals last week, no signals this week. Going to wait and see what happens here. We've got blue professional bars kind of holding the fort at 640, spiked down to test into that, broken into an uptrend. Got blue professional bars kind of forcing it down at $7. So let's see if we get a rally in natural gas this week to kind of follow crude. Copper I think has been weak. Yeah, coming into these highs almost up at $4. Kind of signals short. A whole bunch of blue professional bars this week into those high bearish divergence, and we get our signal kind of short. So copper is weak at the moment. Then lastly, ags. So let's look at wheat first, because I was long wheat a couple of weeks ago and got taken out on my stop. I was in way too early here. I was kind of trading off a signal here or another signal on the 200 tip bar chart, and got in again, re-entered, just because I've wanted to prove myself right, that there was a rally opportunity in wheat, and got out around these blue professional bars just after those. But I don't actually think that's kind of setting up for a long trade. That doesn't look right to me. No blue professional bars at the low here, or here. They're kind of getting in on the retrace, and we've got some weakness from there. So wheat is kind of coming down. Soybeans, yeah, all kinds of pretty junky around here, but a lot of kind of short signals going on this week as we come into those highs. Testing. Whole bunch of blue professional bars, but it is really kind of range bound at the moment there. Let's see which way that breaks this week. And then corn, what's corn been doing? Nice signal long here, a whole bunch of blue professional buy, and then we've got some signs of strength after that. And then on the retrace here, blue professional bars kind of come in. No blue professional bars taking profits at these highs, but they're getting in on this kind of weakness on the way down. So that'd be good for a break back up above this kind of congestion zone, or up above 660, to see if that kind of rallies for corn. So there we go, a rip around the charts, and I'm looking for the equities markets to hold at some point this week and get a rally in equities and in the forex markets, and those are the ones kind of most interest for me at the moment. I hope your trading is going well. We'll still have some good trading this week before things start to quieten down a little bit over the Christmas and New Year period. So I'm kind of looking forward to that.